Hello Grade 9! Para naman sa videong ito, gagabayan ko kayo kung paano sagutin ang Activity 2 entitled Varies Jointly. For this activity, we are going to determine whether the given variation equation represents joint variation or not. Let's begin by answering the following examples. Example number 1. E is equal to 1/2 mv squared. To determine whether this example represents a joint variation equation, we have to check whether it involves the following. First, one variable depends on two or more other variables. Obviously, the given variation equation satisfies this criteria. Next, variables are directly proportional. This means that the dependent variable is equal to the product of a constant and independent variable. Again, for this criteria, it's checked. Therefore, we can say that the given variation equation represents a joint variation. Example number 2. Y is equal to -4 over x. Again, let's try to see if the variation equation involves one variable depends on two or more other variables. For this example, it does not satisfy this criteria. Obviously, y only depends on one variable, which is x. For the second criteria, variables are directly proportional. Again, it's a no, because y and x are inversely proportional, as shown on the variation equation, since y is equal to the quotient of a constant and the variable x. Based on this, we can establish that this is not a joint variation equation. Next example, z is equal to 8p squared. Let's determine whether the variation equation meets the criteria for a joint variation. One variable depends on two or more other variables. Obviously, it's a no, because variable z only depends on one variable, which is p. Next, are the variables directly proportional? The given example satisfies this criteria, since z is equal to the product of a constant, which is 8, and the square of p. Since one of the criteria did not satisfy the given variation equation, then we can establish the fact that this is not a joint variation equation. For the fourth example, w is equal to -7xyz. Let us see whether this variation equation satisfies the following. One variable depends on two or more other variables. Obviously, the given variation equation satisfies this criteria. Since there are three independent variables in this example, it is in the form of x, y, and z. Variables are directly proportional. Since this equation illustrates the dependent variable is equal to the product of a constant and independent quantities, we can say that this variation equation satisfies this criteria. Therefore, we can say that this is a joint variation equation. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next virtual instruction.